There's a lot of people who hate super teams, right? But let's not blame this on Chris Paul. Let's not blame this on Kevin Durant. Let's not blame this on LeBron James. We must first point the blame at the NBA for not using its platform to develop players. You have something that's called the developmental league. But it's like the NBA just acts as if it's its own entity and doesn't want to pull from the developmental league or send players to the developmental league first before they're drafted, which I think how it should go. I think if you're 18, you want to come out, you think you're good enough to play in the NBA, or 1 year in college, I think you should get drafted to the developmental league, and then you go to the NBA from there. Like, I don't know why the NBA doesn't use it. I don't know why the NBA just doesn't use the D League, but for some reason they just don't want to use it. I don't know whether enough smart brains haven't come together yet to tell them like, hey, I think we should send these guys to the D League, and then how about we test them off of that instead of sending these guys to the NBA and these guys are busts. We see it's a large level of disparity from KD to Perry Jones, guys who come out of high school and who we think are supposed to be the cream of the crop, but they get to the NBA and it's everything but that. So, what did Chris Paul do? Chris Paul said, I'm not about to go on another, I am not about to rebuild again. I've already been in that situation. I was, prior to the Clippers, for those of you who don't know, he was, of course, with the Hornets, right? Now, Chris Paul just said, I'm about to go play with another top 5, some may think, or a top 10 player. Well, why did he say that? Because there's not enough good players in the NBA. Like I already stated, he said, why go to Denver? For what? Just to lose? Why go to Miami? For what? Just to lose? So, what is going to be the long-term effect of this? I think Super Teams is about to go rampant, and I think it's going to keep happening. Chris Paul, and not only Chris Paul, LeBron, and of course the big three, the Celtics, have really just opened up the floodgates. So, I'll tell you this. It's 30 teams in the NBA right now. There won't be, I don't think it'll be 30 teams in maybe, let's say, 15, 20 years. Because with all these super teams, a lot of owners are going to start losing a lot of money. And I mean that, a lot of money. It's like, who's going to come watch their team play if they're getting blown out by 30 points every night? Sacramento Kings. Who's going to watch them play? I don't care who you just drafted. You just drafted De'Aaron Fox. But for what? For him to get blown out by 30 points going up against these super teams? Well, what is he going to do? De'Aaron Fox is going to be like, well, okay. Well, I done had to go against C.J. McCollum, Lillard, and God forbid they get another piece to their team. I've had to go against Clay, KD, Steph. I had to go against LeBron, Kyrie. I've had to go against these teams who we deem as super teams. He's like, forget it. So I'm just going to team up, and I'm going to be a part of that. Now we have guys actually getting drafted, right? We got guys who we just had Lonzo Ball, Fultz, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was the year before. But how long do you think Ben Simmons is going to stay put in Philadelphia before he just gets tired? And then when his contract comes up, he's going to be like, well, there's not enough good players in the NBA, so I want to win. I'm going to go play with maybe Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Davis. He's going to go to another dominant team. That's just the way it is now. Like, the NBA, as I've said, the NBA has failed to develop rookies time and time and time again. It's no reason I should be watching the NBA game and I see and I'm just using an example, but I shouldn't see the Phoenix Suns getting beat by 30 points. I shouldn't see blowouts in the NBA. How are you getting blown out and you guys are selected? You guys are basically, picked off potential and y'all supposed to be the best players in the world. So why are y'all getting blown out? Like, we have an 82-game season, but we don't need 82 games to figure out who's going to the finals. That's a problem. Just imagine if the NFL was like that. Yes, the Patriots won Super Bowl last year, but they're not guaranteed to go back. We are guaranteed to see Golden State back in the finals again. We know that. Already knew once KD made that move, they was going back. we know LeBron is running the East. He's going back. Another thing, y'all rather build y'all teams on the West instead of going to the East and going to compete with LeBron, but it's like, hey, forget it. I guess people rather see LeBron in the finals than lose to him in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like I once said, but let me get back to my point. The season needs to be shortened big time. We don't need 82 games just to see Golden State beat everybody and then win the championship. And like I said, maybe some owners are going to start. Some owners will start to have to lose money before owners start to react. It's gonna get to a point where people where a lot of these teams who aren't winning, like okay, I'm not gonna say the Bucks, but like the Hornets, or maybe are just gonna start to lose money. People are not gonna show up. They're like, I'm not about to keep seeing my team get beat by 30, 40 points because we have one star, which is who would be Kemba Walker right now. Yeah, they just got Malik Monk, but that's still to be seen what he's going to turn out to. But for instance, like Kemba Walker. So what do you think is going to happen when Kemba Walker contract comes up? You don't think he wants to go win? Maybe he can be that piece to go play with the Spurs. Because I think Chris Paul did a disservice to himself. I think he would have fit the Spurs so much better because they really need a point guard. Yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge goes through his thing at the time, but they really need a point guard right now. Now, what you do is you move James Harden off ball, and now we have to see how he plays off ball. But even when James Harden wasn't the point guard, what would happen? The point guard would just bring the ball across half court and give the ball to James Harden so James Harden can set up the offense. Well, now that point guard is going to be Chris Paul. It's not going to be like that. Chris Paul needs the ball on his hands to create too. We don't know how both of them can play off ball. I'm pretty sure they can. I'm pretty sure it's not hard for them to learn. These are two very good and very smart basketball players. But this will affect rookies more than ever now. Like back in the days, yes, guys probably was drafted and they came to the NBA and they played and they was probably okay to come out of high school and after 1 year. But like I said, things only get better with time. So now the stars who were then like your Kevin McHale's, we only have better stars. Not saying that guys that are playing at power forward center position are better than Kevin McHale today. I'm just saying like the star power is much bigger now. Like they're like I said before, the level of disparity between great and even decent NBA is very, and I mean very drastic. So, like I said, Lonzo Ball ain't gonna keep losing. He's gonna be like, well, for what? I'm losing, okay. And this is a mic. Not saying Lonzo Ball, but for other rookies, I'll use De'Aaron Fox. You're telling this guy to go up and go play against all these great super teams and lose for I guess 3 to 4 years. And you really think he's gonna sign there in Sacramento again if y'all don't manage to get another superstar to go play with this guy? Being that De'Aaron Fox does pan out and become a superstar. So I think we are in for something very special. And you can be on both sides of the fence. Honestly, me, I don't care. I think it's good because I get to watch the All-Star game. Instead of it being in February one time, I get to watch the All-Star game a couple times throughout the year. I mean, who wouldn't like that? But then some guys say, oh, it shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like this. We're playing at the highest level. But I say, hey, y'all don't complain when these guys from Alabama all team up and go play with Nick Saban. Y'all don't complain when everybody go play with UK. And y'all do not complain in high school when these guys who are the best athletes all go play on the same AAU team. So, super teams, don't be mad at the players, but you need to blame it on the NBA for not developing players.